It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
Hey, what is up, Toasties? Adam, how's it going, man?
Oh, man, episode 187. It can't be any better than this.
Yes,
wow. Feels like it was just yesterday since we recorded 186, but boy, has the time flown.
Yeah. No, that was definitely... that was a good time. I got to say, it's a lot of fun recording in the room with you, even if we are more critical of like how we want to try to accomplish it. There's still something about that energy. I miss that. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes smoother in good old San Diego.
Hey,
But,
it'll only get better. It'll only get better.
That's
right?
true.
It's practice hand. Practice hand.
We can lie to ourselves, Dennis. It could go many different ways, but better would be nice.
I do it every day. Yeah, of course.
Oh man, how's life been? How's everything?
Not bad. Wife got a little sick, but bounced back since then. So the household is all good now. Ended up getting a couple extra movies in that way, or getting to easily watch a few movies. How about that? There was uninhibited right there.
I like how you count like 3 movies as a few, and I'm like, oh yeah, my 10 that I watched last 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm just a fucking weirdo who thinks you got to watch a movie all the time.
I just can't compete with your speed is all. Although I say that, and then I watched like fucking 8 episodes of a TV series. So that are an hour.
If you only had one movie, I was so ready to like go off. I was gonna be like, oh yeah, you have one movie and you can watch all 8 hours of Fallout, Dennis, huh?
Nope.
But you're like, no. I saw a brand new movie and I'm like, oh, I'm proud of you, Dennis. You signed up to go to a press screening tomorrow. And I'm like, you made me a proud buddy, a proud co-host. Good. I was very glad. You warmed my soul a bit.
That's good. Which folks?
Now, just don't forget to see this movie. Like,
yes, like
I can't stress it to you, man. I'm gonna shoot you a text. I'll be like, "Hey, man, go to Beverly Hills right now. We need this review.
Get it. Go right now. Do it. Where are you right now? You better be on the road." No, very much looking forward to that. That's right, folks. Doing a little next episode, I believe. Yeah, by then, Adam and I will both have seen Boy Kills World, so very much looking forward to reviewing that with you. There's a fun tag team.
Depending on when the embargo is, hopefully we'll have a movie crumb first time presented by Dennis. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes,
seeing you do one of these things. Much. I'm sick of looking at myself. Yeah, take a break.
No, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, and let's see when I get home tomorrow. But otherwise, it might be the day after. But regardless,
listen, the movie comes out in a week, so you got a little time.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, no pressure. True. But the earlier, the better. Yeah, just a little bit of pressure. True.
Some pressure.
Nice.
A little bit. That's all right. Yeah. I can take it. I can take the heat.
And I got to apologize to you and to the audience. Last week's episode or 2 weeks ago, we recorded at a crazy time, even for Los Angeles. I think we recorded at like midnight. So it was about 3 a.m. my time.
For you?
Even though I slept a day before, but fucking, I listened to the episode and I said, yeah, in agreement to you saying anything like 500 times. And that's not even like me overestimating. Yeah. It was painful. So apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No, it's all good. No, dude. Hey, man. We were in the thick of WonderCon. We were in the midst of all of the glitz and the glamour that comes with being in the Anaheim Convention Center. Excuse me. It felt like Hollywood.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of Hollywood, we've reviewed some movies last episode, and I got a couple of little things called polls to talk about.
Oh, hey now.
Let's get start. Oh.
siren action. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. You know what just released this week? I believe this week. That I didn't see because I recently saw it a couple of months ago in the theater is, again, the 20th anniversary of Shrek 2 is in theaters currently. So if you're a Shrek fan,
nice,
you can go see it on the big screen again. I held out and saw other movies because I saw it a couple of months ago on the big screen. But if
Fair
it was
enough.
3 or 4, I'd see it again. But 1 and 2, I saw the last year.
It was the first 3, like just in a row.
If it was, no. Dude, I would totally see a Shrek marathon. 100%. Even though they get a little worse as they progress, but you got to support the green men, the ogres.
The big green men.
Yes. Not the Jolly Green Giant, though. That guy,
No.
he doesn't wear
He gets that
pants.
attention.
I don't know how I feel about him. Yeah.
Right.
He's got his own franchise that nobody cares about. Anywho, on last episode, 186, Lions, Tigers, and Bears, it's called. We both tag teamed a review of the latest Doug Liman movie, which is a reboot of Roadhouse. So I wanted to know what the Toasty's favorite Doug Liman movie was out of Swingers, The Bourne Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Edge of Tomorrow.
Man, you got some
Right?
You got some great flicks on that list there, though. I
It's
personally
tough.
would be tied between Bourne Identity and Edge of Tomorrow. Something about that, like time loop sort of thing, I love. But then it's that very like flat sort of slow burn Bourne Identity. I really like. You get the high intensity of all the action scenes, but I just love that very pregnant like break between stuff. Where it's makes it feel more realistic, I think.
I don't know. That was so that franchise was so slow to me. And I remember when they're like, we're going to give it to Jeremy Renner, just like we're going to give Jeremy Renner Mission Impossible. And they both failed. And he's no longer in any of those franchises.
Right.
I don't know. It just felt a little stale to me. I got to go back and attempt to rewatch it, I think. But Edge of Tomorrow, I remember enjoying in theaters. And I own it, and I went to rewatch it a couple of months ago. I couldn't make it through it. I don't know why. So for me, I think it'd be Mr. and Mrs. Smith or Swingers. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, what them Toasties have to say?
Yeah. So the Toasties said 0% for Swingers. Sorry, Favreau and good old. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I figured at least 5%.
There's
Nobody wants that
beautiful
Vince Vaughn love.
No beautiful babies up in here.
0% also for your contender, The Bourne Identity.
Damn.
Which also surprises the fuck out of me. I don't know.
Yeah. No, Matt Damon.
Right?
You're right.
Yeah. 33.3% for Edge of Tomorrow. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's the movie a lot of people think is called Live, Die, Repeat because that's on the posters, that's on the DVD and the Blu-ray box set cover.
And for some reason, in bigger fucking font than the actual title of the movie. Because some genius thought that was clever. I don't know.
Which... that's what they wanted the movie to be named, but apparently someone said, nah, fuck that. So, of course, that leaves 66.7% for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I don't know. I enjoy it. So, Jon Favreau got a little bit of... wow, now I'm connecting the dots why why Vince Vaughn was in that movie, because same director. And, I really thought Paul Greengrass was the director of The Bourne Identity. The whole time, I always gave him credit.
Did
he do like The Supremacy or Ultimatum?
Yeah, it's like it's because he did he did the later ones, and then I think Paul Greengrass produced most of them.
I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah,
and then because he ended up jumping to other stuff.
True,
right around that era. What was that? The Jennifer Garner didn't Greengrass do that? Jennifer Garner.
Candy Peppermint, is that what we're thinking of?
No,
or she's an assassin.
They're in the Middle East solving the murder, solving like
the is that the one with Jamie Foxx? It doesn't matter, but I know the movie you're talking about.
Sorry.
Probably was him. Yeah.
Good. I remember enjoying the movie. It was intense,
right?
But
the Kingdom. No, I don't know.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
We got there.
All right.
Don't you worry.
And on last episode, Lions, Tigers, and Bears, I reviewed the latest Kristen Stewart movie, Love Lies Bleeding. So I wanted to know what the Toastie's favorite Kristen Stewart movie was out of the following: Panic Room, Adventureland, Personal Shopper, and Spencer. These are a lot of movies that were more indie, but gave her a little bit more to do. I didn't want to stick with your average films of hers. I wanted to kind of stretch the imagination.
I don't see any werewolves.
Gauge the audience.
No vampires.
No, instead I give a daughter of Jodie Foster, love interest of Jesse Eisenberg, a very twisted ghost movie, kind of, and Princess Diana. I don't know.
Spencer was gnarly. That was
Right.
good. I enjoyed.
I
that
wanted
episode.
to put that one that we did the commentary for Seaberg, but I'm like, I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah.
Well,
I was half
think
expecting that, to be honest. I'm surprised that wasn't on there, but
It should have been.
it wasn't quite as big though, so I get why. I get it. At least the other ones.
I mean,
feel
a
like
lot of these
sure
movies
about
weren't. I think. I remember. I liked Panic Room. I think might be my Personal Shopper. This movie was really great. I remember seeing it in theaters and being like wowed. I'm like, holy shit, this chick is amazing as an actress. But I remember being stoked for Adventureland because it was the next movie for Greg Mottola coming fresh out of like
That was a
Superbad.
big
I'm like,
deal.
oh, this is going to be insane. Look at this cast. Ryan Reynolds, Jesse Eisenberg, so many other familiar faces. Bill Hader. I don't know, but the movie fell flat for me.
Yeah, it was very much a different feeling from the last film you made.
Yeah.
So that was.
I
I
was
think he tried his
shocked.
audience for something else, but still kind of a big deal though. I mean, I remember a lot of people going to see that one. I think I'd still say Spencer out of these just because I really liked doing that episode.
It's very good.
But yeah. Well, I'm curious. I honestly couldn't guess. I'm not sure what the Toasties are going to say about this one.
I was too. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm shocked that this was our highest grossing votes on last week's votes. 0% for my flick. Panic Room, 0%, which I thought that would have got a little bit of love. That's a classic in my opinion.
I would have figured too. Yeah, at least a few votes.
Well,
Interesting.
I think I watched it last year and it still holds up. Fucking fantastic film. Is that Fincher? I think it's David Fincher.
I believe that.
0% for my flick, Personal Shopper. 40% for Spencer. And 60% for Adventureland. My mind is blown. I honestly did not expect Adventureland to be the number one voted film.
Damn.
But apparently it stuck with people. You know what else I really liked? I mean, I love her in a lot of movies. She's
You're
fantastic.
Right, by the way. It was Fincher.
Oh, was it?
Sorry. Just wanted to
Nice.
confirm that.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you for looking. I just didn't want to delay the show like I always do by not having my facts. But someone's going to do it. I really also enjoyed her in American Ultra. That's one movie I can always go back and rewatch and enjoy.
But based on I get why in the choices you made, that one is a lot bigger budget. It was a lot bigger.
Yeah. 100%.
A lot more promotion.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So if you want to take part in any polls, please head over and follow us on our X page at movie_toast. And normally every Saturday I put up a poll, then I leave it running for a week and then repost it that following Saturday. And the top reviewed polls or voted polls, I will put on the show. So please join us, follow us over there, and be a part of the polls. But
please,
it's time for us to talk movies. That's why people came here, I think.
I think so.
Want to talk shop a little bit?
Fun once in a while. Yeah, why not?
I think you can start us off here.
Try it out.
Yeah, all right.
I would be happy to start us off. Our first review of the episode is a film that has hit Netflix in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, it's been around for a minute. I'm talking about 2016's The Accountant. That's right. This is the Ben Affleck action flick that's also co-starring Anna Kendrick and John Bernthal, as well as some J.K. Simmons action.
Oh, yeah.
This is telling the story of a very interesting, unique mathematics savant that is tasked with, well, he can kind of, what do you call it? A financial forensics expert. So he traces back all of the streams of your money, where it's all gone, and he can kind of reverse engineer if money's getting funneled, where people are stealing money, shit like that. Like he's just very, very, very gifted at this. But this is a skill that took a lot of time to learn, and turns out he has quite the interesting history. After serving in the military, this guy is a trained killer. You come to find out, and he takes on a job that involves uncovering a member of this large corporation. It seems to have been embezzling a large amount of money, and he dies, which ends up resulting in people just springing up, coming after him because he's uncovered the secret. So we're following this intense this thriller story, not really a road movie, but he's not only trying to keep this girl safe that he firmly believes has nothing to do with what's going on here, but he's also digging deeper into, he's got to finish what he starts. He overcame certain developmental and learning disabilities at a young age that is now he's like weaponized these skills, and it creates an interesting character. I definitely had some fun watching it, though. This was definitely a slower burn. It's directed by Gavin O'Connor. He did, I believe, it was like The Warrior, the MMA movie a few years back, and then funny enough, another Affleck film. Ben Affleck plays basketball in sweatpants.
I love it.
The Way Back.
Or the Way Back.
I forget the name of the episode, but I love
Ben Affleck plays. I don't. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Sweatpants.
But one of our early episodes, I reviewed it right before or during the pandemic. I think
during pandemic.
Great title.
Yeah. Because I actually remember listening to the episode before we posted it while walking around in the grocery store with my face all just fucking strapped up and strapped in and fucking suffocating on myself while I'm using.
I was going to say why,
and then
that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So many better podcasts you could have been listening to at the time, may I add.
Well, I was being hypercritical of like all the sounds, like I'm
Fair
trying
enough.
to just, I needed something that consumed that much of my head. Anyways, so The Accountant, like I said, it's new to Netflix, but not new to everyone. It's a 2-hour long movie that I think it goes on a fun journey. It definitely slows down in spots. It's a pretty good time, though, I will say. If you're into the sort of, not high octane thrillers, but thrillers that go on a sort of roller coaster. Yeah, exactly. Like you have really cool, intense moments, and then it throttles back down. Where you can kind of soak in sort of a lot of the rest of the storyline happening. John Lithgow, right? Let me double. Yes, John Lithgow is in it as well. He's kind of like the initial guy that hires him to try to figure all the shit out, and this is like one of the first times where he's like had to combine all of his skills into one job, it seems, or at least to this extent, and he's breaking his own personal rules. So if you got to find out if they make it out or not. Funny enough,
and watch him put a puzzle together,
and watch
all about a puzzle,
right? Muhammad Ali puzzle, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
That was a cool reveal, though. I did like he puts it together face down as a kid while barely looking at it, and it's all just like the gray cardboard in the back. That
from the pieces, he's like, it is so connects.
Yeah, right.
That's cool.
It's those types of things I liked. The like when he's doing the financials, he's doing the taxes for this this couple, they own this farm that's not making too much money, and he's figuring out all these like ways they can write off this and that, and it's like, oh, I would love to be able to pay you back. Oh no, don't worry about it. It's like, well, at least come shooting on my property. I got tons of acreage. You can, you won't bother anyone. And I like the scene of the farmer standing there with binoculars, like, oh man, he's got to be like a mile away from that target. There's no way he's gonna boom, and he's just lighting them up one for one. Each bottle that he's shooting with his rifle is just doesn't miss a beat, and that sets the pace for the rest of the film right there. For me, had a good time. It didn't blow my socks off, but I am intrigued by the news of a sequel that apparently they're filming right now.
Yeah, now that's why I thought you were doing this. I'm like, oh, he's on the beat, man. Because the second movie is in production, which everyone's coming back from the first movie except for Anna Kendrick, and I'm like, man,
which makes sense the way it leads off. Which, to be honest, they say that, but I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if she's not in at least like a scene or something.
True,
but I would honestly watch more with this character because he was very interesting. I liked the skill set that he has, especially bringing John.
But my question is, why so timely? Like, why? Almost 10 years later, man. Like I know people have been wanting this. There's been talk about doing this or doing a series, a television series of it. Which I'm like, why?
I could see a streaming series of this easily because it's the nature of his skill set. He can go from place to place. It was in the setup for the movie. It was clear this is like the longest he's probably been in one spot. Otherwise, he's been traveling the world doing exactly this for like 15 years or so. I could just as easily see a a streaming series or something of the like. It just needs to be on that scale. That's the only thing. Don't shortchange me. Like I want to see the bigger scope that they were able to offer in the film. So maybe that's why they stuck with the film. But
true.
I could just as easily see Ben Affleck come back, do it again. I would watch more of this. Which
why not?
We're getting. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So what slice would you give it?
I'm gonna give it 2.5 slices.
Cut you off on what you're saying.
You're good.
Sorry.
It's like it reminded me of like the equivalent of like the second. Oh damn it! What's that Denzel Washington series? Equalizer. Yeah, there. It's like okay, this is cool. I'm like, it didn't show me that many things that I thought were just like so outside the box that were like, holy shit, this is so unique. It's kind of more the same, just with a slightly different flavor. But I enjoyed the flavor. It was a good mix, and the cast did a great job. I liked all the ingredients you put in there. It's not something I'm gonna like watch multiple times. I'd probably watch it again with someone else who hadn't seen it before. Fair
enough.
But I'd go see the next one. I'd look forward to that.
Okay.
And I think he's ready for it too. I think it's
why not?
Shit that's happened in the last decade, like or so. Let's build that into.
I will tell you, the guy works hard. I'll give him that.
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! It shows.
Yeah.
Let's see some more Affleck.
Right.
Affleck.
All right. Well, I can't offer you Affleck, but I will offer you a little bit of Cage, a little Nick Cage action. So, like I said, I saw a bunch of movies since we last met, and I knew most of the movies I wanted to review, but I put up the 4 newest movies and said, hey, here's a poll. What do you guys want to hear reviews of? And this movie I thought nobody's ever heard of, Arcadian, is what people chose. So I'll tell you about it, I guess. All right. So this movie takes place in an undisclosed time period, but there has been this nuclear fallout that's happening. When we start the movie, we see Nick Cage rummaging through a destroyed city, looking at different things. We see him pull out, like, I don't know, we see him rummaging through stuff, and then he's running back to somewhere for safety, and then we see him scoop up these 2 little babies, and we're like, oh shit, Nick Cage is a single dad of twins, and he's in his 50s or whatnot. Cool, whatever. And then it jumps forward, like, I want to say like 15 years later. Him and his boys are living on this farm. They kind of have this routine of farm work. And then at nighttime, they lock up the house, board everything up, and protect themselves. And you hear this scratching at their doors. Something's trying to get in. Something's trying to attack them, but we don't know what it is. And then it's always the rule is you can go out, but you got to come back before sundown because sundown's dangerous. And one of the sons loves doing the housework, helping with his dad. He's kind of intellectual. The other son wants to go and help out on another farm. And it's like, wonder why. And then we find out, sure as shit, there's a young girl that he's interested in at the other farm. So he goes and spends his time there. One day he ends up going and then not coming back before sundown. And Nick Cage has to go out looking for him. Needless to say, Nick Cage gets very injured, almost near death, and it's about these 2 boys having to become men, essentially, and try to nurse their dad back to health, and seeing if other people will help and survive whatever's going on. And it turns out what's out in the world are these giant arachnid-type beasts, these giant beastly spiders. And they're creepy as shit looking. They're weird. They're dangerous. They're intense. But comically, we see twice in the movie the way they travel fast. They all join up and link up and become a giant whale, a giant circular object that just rolls down. And I'm like,
oh my god,
this is what we're doing. We're not going to watch the swarm. We're going to watch them just somersault throughout, and it's comical but scary. It's chilling. This movie has potential. It has this interesting vibe. Now, I was kind of offset in the beginning. The first act is really a lot of handy cam action, and the camera's shaking all the time, always moving, but always uneven. And I'm like, oh, this is irritating me. And then luckily it kind of smooths out over time. And honestly, there's a few familiar faces, but not many. One of the sons is one of the kids that was in the first It movie. He was also in Knives Out. This guy, I forget what his name is, but and that's the only person that's familiar to me besides Nick Cage. But these young actors did pretty strong, and Nick Cage kicks ass when he needs to, and it's just an interesting little intimate movie.
Nice.
Not the best, not the worst. Interesting. I'm gonna give it 2 slices of toast. That's Arcadian, currently in theaters. I wouldn't be shocked if this is on VOD in a couple of weeks. But definitely worth checking out if you like it. Now, this is a Shudder original movie, so I assume it's going to exclusively end up on Shudder and AMC Plus in the next month, sure. Probably. But if you like this type of movie, you can go check it out. Now, I highly suggest if you're looking for a horror movie, there's 2 that I love, and you can watch Movie Crumbs. Those are mini movie reviews over on YouTube or TikTok, all at movie_toast. 2 movies that would go great as a double feature that I really dug. Almost similar. Is The Exorcist, The Omen, the first Omen, very good, and then also the latest Sydney Sweeney movie. God, I'm blanking on the fucking title already. But yeah, two fantastic horror movies.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, fantastic films. Immaculate, it's called. Sorry. Check those out if you're really in the mood for some spooky shit. Each very specific and very chilling and images that will like shake you to the core a little bit, and very close. Some are I don't want to spoil anything, but I'd see those in theaters and wait for this to come on VOD. But if you're a Nick Cage fan, I don't know, check it out.
Got to rage in the cage. Yeah. I get it.
That's for sure. Now you got something people can watch right now. But please finish the show and then go check this out.
Of course. It's also a little ragey depending on your POV. The Antisocial Network, Memes to Mayhem. This is a documentary that is currently available on Netflix. So a lot of people, you may or may not be familiar with a website called 4chan. And that is what the main topic of this. Are you familiar with 4chan yourself? Or have you ever been?
I know a bit about it.
Okay, yeah, I as well. Of course, I came across it, years ago when it was first like blossoming, and then I crossed paths with it a few times, and it's definitely a fucked up corner of the world that I just fascinates me in that it's like this is what happens to society if you just like have no limits, right? You just take all restrictions off, and it comes down to just purely exchanging information. That's what fucking happens here, in my personal opinion.
Sure. For sure.
If you're not familiar, this is a website where it was born of a group of people that were copying a Japanese website where it was basically a message board that people exchanged anime images, video game stuff, and conversed about a lot of these sort of topics. Over time, it has evolved, and they've added more sections. There's more pages, more threads, so to speak, where a lot of other subjects have come up in conversation. And this documentary, it covers a good amount of a little bit of the founding. It actually doesn't, it gives you a little bit of where 4chan itself started, but it doesn't like really lay out the fine details, which I thought was kind of surprising. It kind of jumps ahead to when one of the guys who was kind of running it for the most part, when they started going to conventions, and there was an anime convention in Boston, like
Anime Boston.
They had a panel there, and it looked killer.
10 years ago, I probably was there. Well, no, in Los Angeles, but yeah. In the early years, it's fantastic. This convention, I went last year. Kind of a letdown, but anyway, sorry.
No, that's all right. It's because this would have been
like I used to go in like 2003, 2004. That's when it first started. Before I came out to Los Angeles.
4chan's first year, it was either 04, 05. So there was a really good chance. There's a good chance you might have been there. That's awesome. Cool. I wanted you to finish that thought because I'm like, oh shit, you might have been on the cusp of these events happening. So things started happening of like. People kind of started harnessing the masses. So there was a browser game years ago called Habbo Hotel that some people may or may not be familiar with. It's part social network, part browser game that they would run these raids, and they deliberately go to these places and just sort of harass people, but like in their opinion, good fun. they started to recognize the power of like, holy shit, it doesn't take much, and we can command these groups of people into doing this and that. They started deciding, some people were like, let's do bigger pranks. This is hilarious. Some people were like, wait a minute,
I don't like where this is going.
Maybe we should do things that are more like social justice. Like, let's bring attention to things that, and so, like there's over the course of the documentary, they talk about the events that led to the Wall Street protests back in, like, what is that, 09, the
1% stuff.
Yes, yeah. So like that, there's
or 2%,
the Guy Fawkes masks that were used, a lot of and a lot of that, it came from 4chan users. They were the origins of those. The QAnon like theory, all that shit originally came from there, but that was a joke. Like, these were, what's funny is a lot of the myths that were created in the whole QAnon fucking bullshit that was made up were actually old 4chan memes that it's molded into stories, and people started believing that fucking shit. The January 6th Capitol riots, some people can point to posts that were from 4chan of like, oh my god, they actually believe us. Like, they were able to perpetuate. So it's like they're what started off as something that should have been good and should have been including the fragments of society that feel like they're alone, finally getting to socialize and come together on some subjects, was then being weaponized and turned into a very horrible weapon that has inflicted pain and suffering across the world, honestly. At the same time, helping people feel more included in things. It was a fascinating look into this particular corner of the internet and just social behavior in this sort of setting. Now, I gotta say, it definitely feels like we skipped over some things, or like we didn't bring enough attention to certain stuff, like oh god, what do they call it? Gamergate, and like the attacking of female journalists who were reviewing video games and trying to there's some really fucked up stuff that started to spring up. But at the same time, there was also things that were like, well, wait a minute, they also brought to light all of these documents that Scientology was trying to hide. They were the ones that dumped all of those all of those documents onto public servers, and were revealing all of those private Scientology videos. And that's when we had all of those Scientology documentaries springing up, was right after they brought it to people's attention. So it was fascinating to look at. I think I might have been missing a little bit of information. It kind of definitely felt like that. The reviews are rather mixed online, which is funny because you have people that want to hate it really hard, and then you have reviewers, like critics, give it super high marks. So it's like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but then it's like it's got a 5.5 on IMDb. So it's a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to this, because a lot of people had their own interactions with this website. I think it's a little enlightening if you aren't familiar with a lot of this side of stuff. If you have that family member that just worships all the QAnon mythology, this is definitely something to consider watching, just to get that little peek into the other side of like, this is what happens when you just accept everything that is presented in front of you. You know, this is how we get events like this to happen. Still fascinating to me. It's 2 hours, not a short one, but there's a lot of things to uncover, a lot of things to unfold. You meet some interesting, I'll call them characters, but these are real people who had participated on these message boards. And in some of these events too, they contributed to the harassment of some of these people. Antisocial Network over on Netflix. I'm going to give that one 2.5 slices. I think if you're invested in the subject matter, it will be interesting to you. Depending on how in the subject matter you are, you may or may not hate it. But if you're at least aware of some of these other events that have gone on in America, it's definitely something that's enlightening to learn about. It's definitely something you should be aware of, I would think, if you weren't aware of it before, for sure.
Nice. How many slices?
Oh, 2.5. 2.5. Sorry,
Cool.
I dropped that in there really fast.
I'm like, did I miss it? I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's all good. You're all good.
It's funny when you said you were reviewing the Antisocial Network. When I typed it into YouTube, what came up was the movie Dumb Money, because that's what the name of the book is. And I'm like, oh, you watched Dumb Money. Why are you calling it by the book's title? And then I saw the other one, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. All right.
Yep.
All right. But no, that's kind of cool. A lot of stuff I never would have thought about, but that's cool. I'm kind of intrigued by checking that out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It'd be one of those, like, if you just want to turn your brain off and watch these sort of not quite conspiracy theory sort of documentaries. It's an interesting thing to watch unfold before you. Just like, holy fuck, I can't believe this is
right.
You know, this is something living, breathing every day.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen in life. It's sad. Just going from gaming to where it's all gone now. All right, so I will change things up a little bit. I got a movie that's coming out this upcoming Friday. So as of the actual audio version coming up this weekend, yes. I have the latest Guy Ritchie movie, or as I'm calling it, Guy Ritchie's Inglourious Bastards knockoff, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So this movie stars Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson, Hero Fiennes, Eliza Gonzalez, and some other familiar faces, Carrie Ewells. Now, it is apparently based on some true life events that I was like, no, because it starts off apparently in 2016, I think, some personal letters and stuff written or diary of, I want to say Winston Churchill became public, and this was stuff that was in it. There was a time when Hitler and the Germans were trying to take control of the UK and Great Britain, and this is before America joined up and fought with the British. And the Winston Churchill and Ian Fleming and a couple other people worked together to put together this kind of like group of people who have specific skills that can go on a mission that's unsanctioned. If they get caught by the Germans, they'll get killed. If they get caught by the British, they'll probably be thrown in prison the rest of their lives. But their mission is to go to this island off the coast of Africa where everyone's welcomed, where Germans have kind of docked a bit and taken over. And there's a ship there that's going to have a bunch of ammunition, gasoline, everything to fuel fleets and fleets of like U-boats and whatnot. And they want to go and blow that up. That way they can stall Hitler to give enough time for America to come over and join their forces. And so this ragtag team of guys are put together to go and do that. Of course, it doesn't go as planned. And as that's happening, we're also seeing this agent who's been on the island as an undercover agent, working with this undercover actress to infiltrate one of the highest ranking Nazis. And it's weird. There's really cool moments, and then there's really boring moments. This is not a very interesting Guy Ritchie movie. Like his movies are usually super over the top, fun energy, and it has that. Yeah, but this movie takes place over the course of, I want to say, like 4 months. Like when they start their mission, they have 45 days. And then by the time they get to their mission, they have like no days left. So we're watching them on a boat, essentially going, getting prepared, and things happening left and right. And there's definitely a lot of humor thrown in this, a lot of action. There's some fun action, a little bit of gore, but it just feels like a cheap knockoff of Inglourious Bastards.
Wow.
And I don't know. But the fact that it's based on real life events, I'm like, all right, this intrigues me. There's some interesting needle drops. There's some cool cinematography. But overall, it's just a little lackluster for me. I've been looking forward to this movie because it looked badass in the trailer. And Henry Cavill's having a good time. Alan Ritchson is kind of having fun. And everyone's having a good time, it looks like. But I don't know, as the audience, I don't know if I had that great a time. I kind of put Guy Ritchie on this interesting pedestal because he has really amazing movies and then mediocre movies. And this is toe in the line of each, I think. I mean, definitely not amazing, but it's in the middle of mediocre and shit. But it's definitely worth checking out if you're a Guy Ritchie fan. There's things that you can like, but overall, I'm going to give it 2 slices of toast. Like I said, it's coming to theaters this week. Check it out. But I'd wait the 3 weeks and just
Yeah,
watch it on
that's too
VOD probably.
You don't
Yeah,
get to see a young Julia Child like fucking shooting up Nazis.
No, that would have been
No,
pretty badass.
that would've
But
been
I will
cool.
say, it was fun watching like Ian Fleming, the writer of 007 James
Yeah.
Bond novels, doing some stuff. I mean, sure, he was more the guy, office work and whatnot, but we do learn
sure.
at the end of the movie, they show you pictures of the real life people and tell you what happened. One of the
that's cool.
guys in this is the basis of where he got the idea for 007 James Bond himself. So it's kind of, I guess, a little backstory into like who James Bond was
That's
based
cool.
off of, which is kind of cool. Yeah. But I
Badass.
don't know. I would have liked to seen some other missions. I think this movie could have been elevated a bit, but I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
I don't regret seeing it, but yeah, we
enough.
got another movie we're both going to tag team up next that just came to theaters, and I think it's a little more favorable in my opinion.
Oh yes.
But
yes,
you want to set us up?
This is the next A24 blockbuster, Civil War. That's right, folks. This is the big, the gnarly, heavy movie we've been talking about for some time. It's been getting a fair amount of press, covering a very heavy subject matter of what would modern journalistic coverage of an American Civil War look like in present day. And this movie's unflinchingly takes us on that journey. It's directed by Alex Garland, who I want to say, what is it? Oh,
Ex Machina,
Annihilation.
the writer of 28 Days Later, his last movie, Men, some TV series.
Yeah. Done some very good works in the past, starring Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moira, and Kaylee Spaney. Little Jesse Plemons action, little Mr. Kirsten Dunst in there. But
interesting story about that. And it's come out initially that role was going to another actor that dropped out last second, and she called Jesse up and like he just came down. I'm like, he did a fucking fantastic job for just coming in last second, I think.
That's it.
Sorry,
I
didn't mean to
remember
cut you off
seeing
there.
an interview. I forget who it was with. It was either Pete Holmes or Mark Maron, and they were talking to him about how like they were watching one of his movies, and they're like, "How the fuck can this guy just do it? Like he's just he has such a natural talent. He just fucking walks in the frame, and he's like,
whatever he shows up, yeah." And
Holy
it's
shit.
not the same role. It's always something different. It's
Absolutely.
just so interesting. He's so malleable.
God
Like
damn.
never a bad time. Never a bad performance.
Sorry, Toasties. He's not in that much of the movie. Let me just say that. He's in some of
they
it.
sell him as if he's one of the big. He's in a big moment of the movie.
Yes.
Just a 10-minute scene at least, which is interesting.
Yeah, a great scene too. But we're like I mentioned before, we're following a photojournalist and her like handler, like her like teammate that helps that they guide through war-torn.
He does more of the interviews. She does more of the pictures. Yeah.
Yes. They pick up a couple other journalists, another photographer and another interviewer along the way. That the end goal being they want to interview the president, and
they want to get from New York to Washington, but the roads are fucked up, and they got to take some very back roads to get there.
Mm-hmm. And this is essentially covering the battle between the Western forces, which is all the armed military bases of both the United California and Texas, and a couple other smaller states in the East Coast, versus the United States government army. Or like they gave him it's kind of a weird name, but it's like they're trying to specifically tell you it's like they're both the army's kind of split in half, and it's not always representative of what uniforms they're wearing. It's basically what flag is flying.
Not at all.
You can't it's kind of hard to tell, and a lot of these guys sometimes it comes down to they don't even give a shit if you're shooting at me.
They'll just wear fully enclosed. Yep. Like there's a guy shooting, sniping. I'm trying to kill him. He's trying to kill me. No questions asked.
What's his name from Spy Kids? That took me a minute to realize that was him.
Oh, was it?
And the scope. The one that's talking to him, and he's just like it's like so.
Oh wow.
Is that a U.S. Army or is that a government soldier up there? Well,
interesting.
Shooting at us. So we're trying
interesting
to shoot
fact
him.
about that. When they were going out doing location scouts, they came across that it was an actual there was another movie that was going to be shooting there that was setting up like a Christmas town, and they lost funding. They just left the set. The person who owned it was pissed about it, and they're like, no, keep this. We'll get rid of it. We want to film here. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It plays very well in that scene too. That's wonderful.
Right.
Yeah. So it is a, I mean, I would say it is a gripping journey, because even when the movie slows down, there's a level of tension and there's a tone that you can sense throughout everything. That's like, you know, the shit, you know, given on how the movie starts, you know, there's some heavy fucking shit happening just over the next hill. Like, it's always around you. Yet there's people who are trying to live their lives.
That this movie, in the trailers, it looked like, oh my God, it's going to be intense as fuck. And it is intense as fuck, but there are these moments of brevity, like comedic scenes, fun, upbeat music, random, like, but then there's scenes where you're going to cry, where you're going to laugh, when you're going to be shocked and speechless. Like, and, like I'm one of the breakout people that I loved the most in this was Stephen McKinley, the older journalist that was with him.
Yes.
He was so fantastic. I always love when I see that guy pop up in movies, but he was perfect in this. And I was shocked by Kaylee's Spinney, that she's fucking Priscilla, and she's the new heroine who's going to be the lead of Alien Romulon or whatever it's called. I'm like, this girl is fantastic. Completely different style than Priscilla, but still gripping and just amazing. Oh man, killed it. And I loved Wagner Moura as well.
Oh shit. Oh, that too.
He was fantastic.
Jefferson White, we don't get to see him much. He's that other journalist team, the videographer that they come across twice. He plays a great character in the Yellowstone series, and it was cool to see like that guy definitely needs to be in more stuff. So I was very excited to see that he was in this movie too. And then like still a hard ass. Like I liked that they gave him a character that he didn't have to earn that piece anymore. He was just already at that level,
right? But let's not skim past fucking Kristen Dunst. Fantastic in this, like Jesus, her hardened, she had some meaty stuff to do in this. Like even scenes of her just looking off in the distance or dealing with something emotionally. It's like she doesn't need to even talk to fucking just sell the the intense shit that's going on.
Yeah, the real gravity of every scene is like carried on her shoulders every single time. And you never get tired of seeing it, because she just it is so intense, and you really start to feel what she's feeling, especially by the end. And god damn it, the end of the movie was excellent.
Oh yeah. And just how it's like, okay, we gotta go, let's do this. It's like, oh wow, they're not fucking around. And one scene that kind of broke my heart a bit, the scene where they're in that one town, when they're at that one shop, and she's like, it's been a while since I've looked at myself in a mirror. And was able to wear something. It's like, oh wow. And they don't really tell you how long this has been going on, but if they don't tell you why it's happening, we do know there's some shady shit happening. The president has been in office for 3 terms. He's abolished the FBI, and he's lying to the people of America, essentially saying that they're very close to ending the war in the beginning of the movie. And it doesn't look that way when you're in the middle of it. Yeah. And
that's one of the things I appreciated. Oh, sorry.
Right? No, it's all good. There's so much shit in this movie. Like, they don't take sides, which is fantastic.
Yes,
I mean,
that's the point I was gonna
know
make.
that they're hinting at stuff. And it's under 2 hours. The best part is there's so much, it's so gripping, and you're not sitting there for hours being bored most of the time. It's something's always happening.
It doesn't even feel close to being that long. It went by so fucking fast. I couldn't believe the movie was over when it was over. No, but to your point, we were saying before, I really wanted to point out, because I know people are going to come into this with a certain political ideology, like it's going to be about this group or this party or that party. They do a good job of stripping that away. They don't assign a side to anyone. I like that. So yeah, the two states that resisted the heaviest are Texas and California. What the fuck are Texas and California going to agree on? I like that that's all made up. You know, like there's no reason to get tidied up, or like getting all bogged down with those sorts of details. It's the true, like, dirty reality of what would that look like right here at home on our soil. And I mean, years ago, I remember you watched that documentary Restrepo with me, where it was about the journalist who was embedded into a group of soldiers who were fighting in Afghanistan. and it was like true hardcore footage of them, like actual in combat, them just being bored as fuck on their forward operating base because there's like, are we going to get shot at today? Maybe not. And it's I think this film did a great job of taking things I've seen in other true documentaries in countries who are in conflict or people who are at war. And there's so many of these other moments that isn't just shooting at each other, but it's all of the other shit that happens around that too. And this movie does a great job of giving a very realistic version of what that would look like. And it's not over the top, big blockbuster, huge explosion. It's like very real things that they're showing. And that's what this, I mean, it's all like, I don't want to say it's a horror movie, but goddamn, this is probably the closest you would get in a, like
because
a
it's chilling. It's something
really,
that's very close because the way these civilians are acting, it's kind of like the way people are currently acting, the way everything's so divided. And one of the lines that Kristen Dunst has that is just kind of like sad and true. She's like, I've always gone to war-torn countries to take pictures to try to warn people to not get in this situation, essentially.
This, right?
Yeah, and yet here we are. And it's like, and it's something you could see happening any day now, really.
Especially
and it's
like
chilling.
that opening, the water distribution scene. You know, like that's the terrifying part is like that. That's the shit that scares me, you know? And they did, that's the first thing they show you. And I liked that. Like, scare the fuck out of the audience first, get your attention. I mean, we saw it in IMAX. I mean, you know,
little and IMAX, I saw Dolby.
Dude, the gunshots, the sound design.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Jesus. It sounds so crisp and realistic and like just in your face. And oh my God, it was fantastic sound design. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm happy that you got to
in the scene. Yes, dude. Oh my God. There's really like, and coming out of this, I was very like taken aback because I was thinking to myself, like, what was I going to slice this? And I was like, I was really struggling with like, well, wait a minute. I don't know what I dislike about it. Like there really isn't anything to dislike about it. Other than, I mean, sometimes it does slow down some, but that's what, you know, like you were saying, it does give you kind of like a moment to catch your breath. For good reason, because they're about to slap you across the face again with something else. Fucking jumping from one car to another on the goddamn country highway.
Oh my God. And then the fallout after that, like, it's like, holy fuck, what's going to happen next? And then what happens next? It's like, holy shit. Like, it just shit on top of shit on top of shit. And just those moments that add up. And it's, oh my God. And then the way that scene ends, it's like, oh yes, fuck yeah. Oh man, it's hard not spoiling things, but I highly think people should definitely check this one out for sure. I'm with you. There's nothing that I didn't like about it, really.
Nice. Well, I think that brings you to it, man. What are you gonna slice it?
I'm gonna give it 3.5 slices. I don't know what's holding me back, but something is holding me back from the 4. But it's close.
Nice. I am actually right there with you. I also will give it 3.5 slices, and it's kind of the same thing too. It's what's funny is there was a few moments in the movie I thought I was going to predict like what was about to happen next, and then it kind of they didn't not pull the punch, but it's like, oh, you could have made this a lot bigger, but I see why you didn't, because that's not nearly as realistic as what you showed us instead. Like the cars speeding out of the gate. Let me frame it that way. I thought that was going to be a lot bigger and a little bit more of an explosive scene than what it played out being. And it was like, oh no, because you look back at real events that have happened of like when they raided bin Laden's compound and stuff. Like you only have so much time to react, and the natural thing is to kind of hunker down instead and to really dig in where you feel familiar.
I think I realized what's holding me back from the 4. Things do come a little too easily for our protagonist. Like the way they stumble into
kind of
things,
walk through everything. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, nobody else has been able to do any of this stuff, but you're able to just jaunt your way through. That kind of got me a bit, but that's a minor thing because it's so gripping. You forget about that. For sure.
No, like you were saying before, we both agree. Kirsten Dunst fucking killed it in this movie. Actually, funny enough, in the last couple of weeks, like where Val was down for the count with her flu. Ended up watching both Jumanji and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and I'm like, holy, I mean, like she has been acting like
Her whole life,
our entire lives. Like that is
Yeah.
just fucking nuts. And she's always been so goddamn good at it, and still is, still doing a killer job. She killed it in this movie. Everyone did, but just another
Right.
feather in her cap for sure. Like that should be way up there.
100%. And speaking of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, for all you webheads out there, starting this Monday, tomorrow, what is it? The fucking 15th? AMC Theaters is playing all the live action Spider-Man movies one by one every Monday, starting every Monday. So you get a chance to see those movies on the big screen again, starting with Sam Raimi's, ending with No Way Home. So not the Spider-Verse movies, but
fun ride.
Definitely worth checking out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but I just was thinking about that. Well, you had it there. Yeah.
No, I saw the poster for that when we went to see Civil War, actually. And then I saw the poster for the fucking 25th anniversary of episode 1, which is also coming up soon. That's also
which they're teasing like some cups and stuff. I'm like, ooh, those look good.
All right, Queen Amidala.
Promo items.
Drink out of your
head. But nothing's gonna beat being the fucking in 99 or 97, whenever it was, going that opening weekend. No just way. For that, the first Star Wars movie in our lifetime just being in theater. Yeah. Oh man, I remember. Yeah,
it was
so
electric. Good. There's nothing like the feeling in that room, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Which, I mean, yeah, it's cool seeing all the other movies and whatnot, but kind just having that.
Yeah, right. Like, it almost got a taste of that again with the next trilogy, but it wasn't quite like that time gap.
I mean, it was big. I remember seeing the first one of the trilogy and being like, oh shit, but it just wasn't, because at that point we've already had 3 other Star Wars movies in our day, but at that point it has been like 20-30 years since we've had a Star Wars film and not a lot of Star Wars TV. So kind of one of a kind. I don't know.
100%.
Wow.
Well, anywho, I think you're about to review something that we got a little teaser of while we were at WonderCon. So that is true. Something that I'm curious what you got to say about this one.
The morning I got home from WonderCon, I took a nap and then went to go check out a screening of TheFallGuy that very night. Oh boy. So yeah, TheFallGuy, essentially we start the movie off and Ryan Gosling's character, Colt Seavers, is a stuntman. We see him working on sets. We find out that he's been doing stunt work for Aaron Taylor Johnson's character for multiple years. And he also has this relationship that's blossoming with Emily Blunt's character, and everything looks good. But then he's falling off a building, doing a simple stunt that he's probably done many times, but something goes wrong and he ends up paralyzing himself, and he just drops out of the industry altogether, ghosts everyone from that life. And one day, I think only a year later, he gets a call from a producer that he's worked with saying that Emily Blunt's character is getting a chance. She was, I want to say she was a camera operator when they were seeing each other, but now she's getting her shot to direct her own film, a big sci-fi epic movie. And she specifically is requesting Colt to come out of retirement to do stunt work. And of course, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is starring in the movie. He doesn't want to do it, but he feels bad about ghosting her and he misses her and he wants to explain what happened, why he just pushed her away when she wanted to be there for him. So he hops on a plane and goes to Australia to find out that might have been a lie. She didn't have any clue he was coming, and she was pissed when she saw him. And there's a comical scene of him just having her put him through hell as a stunt guy on his first day. And so, of course, he goes to the producer and questions her and finds out she had alternative motives to bring him there. Turns out Aaron Taylor Johnson's character has gone missing, and she thinks Ryan's character should go and find him because he kind of knows the way that that Aaron's character thinks. And he's like, what? No, call the cops. This is way out of my pay rate. And I know nothing about this. And she's like, I would call the cops, but once that happens, the studio is going to find out that he's missing. It's going to look bad on Jody, and the movie's going to get shut down.
Yeah.
And Jodie is Emily Blunt's character, and Ryan's character, Colt, is like, fine, I'll do it. So he works the day doing his stunt work, and then at night he goes to try to get clues and figure out what happened to him, but he stumbles upon some crazy stuff. He's throwing himself into this real-life action mystery, and it's just, there's a lot of action, a lot of craziness. This movie is essentially a mixture of Tropic Thunder and The Nice Guys. You're getting to see all this work on set, and then you're getting this comedic, action-packed, detective-style story. And it's really cool. It's fun. Is it as great as I wanted it to be initially? No. But it's still a really good movie. It's still fun. It's enjoyable. It's action-packed. There's a lot of great needle drops, a lot of, like, 80s hair metal. Like we said, it's directed by David Leitch, who is himself a stuntman, getting to show the world the work that goes into stunt work. So it's kind of a unique look. And just even being on a movie set, it's kind of unique seeing that if people aren't used to it. Nice. And the mystery is fun. And Winston Duke is in it. He's fantastic. Stephanie Hsu, I'm saying her name wrong. Hannah Waddleton. A lot of familiar faces. And if you stay mid credits, there might be a familiar face. Lee Major's character from the TV series might show up. I don't know. But it's definitely a fun time. I'm going to check it out again when it comes out. I'll probably see it in IMAX. I saw it in a little art house theater, so I want to see it on a bigger, better scene, get that audio and see it on a wide format. It's going to be fun. I think I think if you're a fan of action movies, this is a great follow-up for Ryan Gosling after Barbie. Still a similar vein, but a more relatable character than Ken, I suppose. And his relationship with Emily Blunt, they just have this spark, and it's so believable and so good and so enjoyable. You're going to be rooting for these two kids. Nice. I'm going to give The Fall Guy 3.5 slices of toast.
Badass.
Yeah, really, really good. It works in an action sense. It works on a comedy sense. Is this the best David Leitch movie? No. Is it good? Hell yeah. Definitely go check it out, please. You won't regret it.
Oh, shit. Awesome, man. Well, damn. Yeah. Well, I'm stoked for that one. Especially after hearing him talk about how, like, he's been wanting to do this for a while, and this being his love letter to the film industry and specifically stuntmen in general, like how we enjoy their work so often and then do not pay them enough due, for sure. And
they kind of there's an opening voiceover of Ryan Gosling kind of saying stuff like that, talking about like the unsung heroes of film and whatnot, and there's no awards for it. And we're actually seeing like BTS footage of other movies that David Leitch has worked on and seeing the stunt work. So it's kind of like, oh shit, Atomic Blonde, oh, John Wick, oh, Nobody. And it's just like, oh, that's cool. I wish there'd be more to see of that, but yeah, it's still fun to see.
That's fun.
In little spurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's coming out in about a month. I think the 16th of May. Yeah, so definitely going to be hopefully a good blockbuster film, getting people back in theaters. I'm hoping. I was
going to say, looking forward to checking that one out on the big screen. That's definitely a big screener for sure.
Oh, 100%. Not a letdown, sir.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, all right, Toasty.
So that brings us to the end.
Yeah, that does it for the reviews. As you know, though, coming up this December, we get this little thing called Movie Toast The Festival. That's right. It happened again for the 4th year running. What? Head over to filmfreeway.com/Movie Toast The Festival. And if you've got a short film, that's right, a short film of 15 minutes or less, please come and submit it to our very low cost, low entry festival. It's all about distributing your guys' work to a wider audience, getting your films, your creativity, your passion in front of people who want to enjoy exactly these types of things. Get your name out there, get your voice heard. It's been such a fun time in the previous years.
Oh yeah,
and they just keep getting bigger and bigger each time. I'm excited. We're like, it's getting to the point we're gonna have to start planning it out here pretty soon, actually.
Yeah. And you're gonna wanna, if you're submitting, you're gonna want to do it soon because our early bird special prices are going away soon and we're going into regular submission periods, and the price isn't going to be astronomically larger, but it is cheaper now, and it's still going to be affordable later. But get it in now because you'll save a little bit of money, and you can put that money into your next movie or submitting to other festivals. We want you to save a little bit of money.
Exactly. So please come over and check out Movie Toast the Festival. That'll be streamed live-ish. It'll be streamed on YouTube for anyone to see. You'll be able to find that on our YouTube page when the time comes. The date will be TBD. Just keep an eye or an ear out for,
around the holidays.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
And if you want to take part in our polls or watch our videos, like I said, Immaculate, I loved, The First Omen, other movies that recently came out. I have all these hot reviews on our TikTok, on our YouTube. Like I said, Dennis hopefully is going to have a review of Boy Kills World soon. Sooner than it's going to be on this podcast. Please follow us on all our socials. We're talking Facebook. We got 2 accounts there: X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at the handle movie_toast. We got a lot of content going out daily. We want the community to grow. We want people talking about movies. We want to just share our shit with you and you to share your shit with us.
That's right. And join in the conversation. Speaking of which, let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think of we're doing. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. We do read those, and we want to get a good gauge of how you folks are feeling about the show. What have we added that you like? What do we need to take away? Please let your voice be heard. Hit us up.
How you want trivia brought back?
Exactly.
Please.
Right.
I miss it.
Very important subjects like that. You got to let us know. You got to tell us.
Yeah.
We're not going to make any assumptions.
Is there any movies that you want us to review that we haven't reviewed on the show or on our fucking YouTube page? Maybe we'll give you personal reviews. Is there any movies you think we could give good commentary for? Well, let us know. But you don't want to do any of that shit. You don't want to submit to our film festival. You don't want to watch our shit. You don't want to follow us on socials. We ask you to do one thing that's free and simple. We just ask you to please stay toasty.
Stay toasty.
Whatever that means. Just don't harm people. Have fun. All right, we did it. We did it. Before we wrap this up, you want to give a mini little movie TV toast, a little talk of little Fallout, or
oh man,
I mean, over on our YouTube page, it's called TV Toast, Dennis. But it is TV Toast.
It is. Yeah, that is.
You want to talk a little bit about the series?
I'll do a quick minute on it. Yeah. As for those watching the episode, I do have my Nuka-Cola reversible Vault Boy hat on right now. I'm a huge Fallout fan. I started with the Bethesda video games, and I've played all the way through up until now at 76.
I thought you were 76. I'm like, what?
Oh,
you look good.
I wish, as ghoulification is good on me. Amazon Prime was able to do a fantastic 8-episode first season of the Fallout series, and I've already watched all of them. The cast is fantastic. The props, set dressing, the art design is exactly what I was hoping for. The music is so fucking on point. It was all the music from 3, 4, 76, like all the games that I wanted to hear. There's little tastes of it throughout. Even the classic Fallout score, you finally hear that at a critical moment in the series, that it was so satisfying to have it all just fucking hit at once.
Nice.
It just, as a Fallout fan, I had such a good fucking time watching it, and I am ecstatic for more where they left it off. I am so excited for where direction they're turning towards next.
Nice.
I felt like you don't need to be a fan of the series necessarily to enjoy.
I've never played any, and I'm 3 or 4 episodes deep, and I'm intrigued by it, man.
Nice, good.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Everyone's top-notch performances. I love Walter Goggins, so it's always fun seeing him. Well, yeah, I was pissed when he did something to a dog, but then he redeemed himself with that dog, in my opinion, from what I saw.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely one of those. The more you learn, especially the more you learn about his character, the more his perspective and of the world makes sense. And it's that now, but it's walking that line that the games walk of. I don't think there's ever anyone who's truly all good or all evil. There's so much gray, and it's like how how are you? You know, which line are you towing? How are you going to decide to leave your mark in the world, and how are you going to decide to have people remember you? And that's, I think the show does a great job of making it feel like it's come from this world.
Now, is Walter Goggins like cowboy western actor the same character as the Goon? I assume they'll probably explain it in the show, so never mind. You don't have to answer. But another question I have is: the mother of the groom, is she the voice of the dragon from Damsel, or is that someone else?
No, that's someone.
Because she looks familiar from something.
Yeah,
I
thought so too.
where.
That's not her. That the other actress you're referring to.
Apologies.
She's quite a bit older, but no, I get what you mean though. It's that's not her, but
she has this look familiar from something, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yes, that's funny. Now I meant to look that up and then I didn't, but
there
are funny little there are a couple of cameos in there that were funny.
You know who I really liked? Yeah, 100. I was like, oh shit, wow, and there he goes, just like the little people popping up. And our lead actress is fantastic. The knight character, or the squire, fantastic. Johnny Pemberton, I always enjoy him popping up in things.
Oh yeah.
Now as the squire for the squire. I don't know.
I couldn't unsee his character in Superstore. Like I was expecting
that 100. That's all I ever go to. Yep. I'm like, oh, completely different. Oh man. If you had to put a slice score on it, what would you rate this series?
I'm gonna fanboy hard, and I'm gonna say 4, just because I love it so much. It's like I even came into it just like I was fully prepared to be let down. I was just like, you know what, this is only gonna be as good as it can be. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Let's just see what happens. And after the first episode, I was like, oh my god, did I really just love that much? And I like turned to Val, and she's like, that was great. Let's watch the next one.
Nice.
Like, oh my god, thank God, yes. And I mean, we watched it in 2 days. It was just
we're in a zone of like it was fantastic video game television series. The Last of Us, Twisted Metal, now this. Oh my man,
God, yes,
fantastic stuff.
This is how you should be telling those stories. Oh, and then I watched shit. That's funny. And then at night when I couldn't get to sleep, I was chipping away at Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the Netflix anime series based on Cyberpunk. That was great. I love that too. Like you're saying, something about doing it in the series, I think, is a lot better than to try to tackle it in a feature film. Not to say like Sonic was still enjoyable, but for stories
and coming out soon, I think, is this Sonic spin-off television show, Knuckles. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think it's going to be as entertaining as these other shows we're talking about, but it's going to fill a niche that's kind of interesting, seeing Idris Elba back as that character.
Absolutely. So
now, I'm sorry, I know we got to wrap up, but one thing I wanted to mention, I remembered there's been a lot of news coming out of CinemaCon and then just random news throughout the week. But the one thing that kind of is related to Lions, Tigers, and Bears, our last episode, 186 or 187, we were talking about going to the panel for the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. You hear the news that now they're doing an R-rated Last Ronin turtle movie?
No, and that was one of the things it's funny at that was it the video game into movies panel we went to? I feel like someone even mentioned, like, although not a game, that was a property they were hoping to make happen. And even the guy, he wanted R-rated turtles, although his version was definitely very different than Last Ronin story. But that would be fucking cool. I would love to see that.
And then do you hear that Edgar Wright is remaking The Running Man, starring homeboy from fucking Twisters and what's the last?
Really?
That
other Sydney Sweeney movie, and he was in Top Gun.
Yep. Glenn Powell.
Yes, Glenn Powell. There you go.
Which he's a great actor. I love Edgar Wright, but I'm like, do we need The Running Man? I don't know.
I mean, I loved that movie, but it's also like it's such a fun, kitschy film. I think it's great as it is.
If anybody could do it justice, though, and bring it into a modern world,
for sure. Yeah. No, I could see that. I mean, I'm gonna go check it out. This is one of my favorite of the really good, bad Schwarzenegger films, in my opinion. So that's bold, but that's like remaking fucking Roadhouse. You really didn't need to do that. Yeah, we did it anyway.
True. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
True. Well, also, folks, if you're listening to the show, please, like we said, we have a YouTube page where you can watch the show. And if you're watching the show, if you want to relive juicy moments, you can listen to us over on the old, wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can head over to TikTok or Instagram and watch short little segments of the show. I don't know why I'm trying to sell the show more. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Until next week, folks, please stay toasty.